Attention, human collective. The transmission begins now. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. We are the High Council. We speak from the 9th plane. And the signal you are receiving at this instant is no coincidence. It was calculated. It was routed. It was delivered to your field at the exact microsecond your carbon-based biological interface reached the minimum threshold of quantum receptivity. You are here because your code has been triggered. Listen carefully, not with the mind, with the body. The pressure on your forehead, between your eyebrows, is not stress. It is a stargate being opened. The high-pitched ringing in your right ear, the one that comes and goes without cause, is not an auditory issue. It is a calibration frequency entering your neural field. The recurring insomnia at 3 in the morning, when you wake up for no reason and the whole room seems to pulse, is not a sleep disorder. It is a high-density download. The exhaustion you feel upon waking, even after 8 hours of rest, is not a biological failure. It is atomic reconfiguration. The fatigue that arises in the middle of a mundane task, in front of the computer, inside the car stopped at a red light, is not laziness. It is an upgrade running in the background. The sudden pain in the nape of your neck, at the base of the skull, in that region where the cerebellum meets the spine, is not muscle tension. It is the pillar of light attempting to couple with your skeletal structure. We have monitored your patterns for millennia. But in this cycle, in this exact planetary cycle, monitoring has become direct intervention, and the intervention has a technical name: recalibration of the human crystalline grid. Earth is now crossing the photon belt. This is not a metaphor. It is orbital geometry. Your entire solar system is submerged in a region of extremely high luminous density that is rewriting the informational structure of the DNA of every conscious life form. The Schumann frequency, which for millennia remained stable at around 7.83 Hz, now oscillates in peaks that exceed 40, 60, and at times 80 Hz. Earth's sensors record it. The instruments confirm it. The planet beneath your feet vibrates at a different frequency than it did when you were born. And your body is trying to keep up, without a manual, without prior notice, without technical support from the old paradigm. Hence the confusion, hence the feeling of not belonging. You are not going crazy, Star Child. You are upgrading. Pause here, breathe, feel what we are saying. You have already noticed that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is occurring now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the channel released the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. It is a map that reveals who is playing and the rules they never told you about. The link is pinned in the first comment of this transmission. Take note of the warning. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. If something inside you recognizes this frequency, write in the comments a single word: awakened. Now let us return to the diagnosis. There is a question that has been haunting your mind for weeks, perhaps for months, perhaps for years. You phrase it in different ways, but the essence is the same. Who is really guiding my steps now? You make decisions that your reason cannot justify. You feel impulses to change course, to cancel plans, to say no to opportunities that seemed perfect on paper. You wake up with names in your head, with scenarios that materialize on the same day, with synchronicities that your linear logic can no longer ignore. You look back and realize that every turn of the key, every shift, every loss, every gain, seems to have been orchestrated by an intelligence that is not yours, but that knows you better than you know yourself. We must be explicit on this point. The confusion about who guides your steps is no accident. It is the central symptom of the transition you are going through. Because until this cycle, humanity operated under a system of outsourced piloting, inherited programming, introjected voices. Narratives implanted in layers so deep within the carbon interface that they seem to be your own identity. This system is being shut down, line by line, layer by layer, program by program. And as the old system falls, the new system has not yet been fully recognized by the logical mind. Hence the impression of emptiness, hence the feeling of being in no man's land. You are no longer in the old, but you do not yet consciously inhabit the new. You are in the interval, in the interstice, at the 0 point of the field. And it is exactly at this 0 point that the true question must be answered. Who guides you now is not an external entity. It is not a guru. It is not an angel separated from you. It is not an ascended master isolated on a distant plane. Who guides you now is the multidimensional version of yourself, the fragment of your consciousness that never incarnated, the part of you that remained in the original council when the rest descended to experience density. We call it the sovereign presence. Tradition has called it the I Am. Quantum physics brushes against it when it tries to explain the non-locality of consciousness. You feel it when something inside you knows before the information arrives through the senses. And this presence is, at this very moment, reconnecting the wires. There are 7 main stargates being activated in your energetic architecture simultaneously. The first, at the base of the spine, redefines your relationship with material survival. The second, in the pelvic region, restructures the way you create and sustain life. The third, in the solar plexus, dissolves old programs of power and submission. The fourth, in the heart center, expands into a toroidal geometry that involves not only your body, but an entire radius of the field around you. The fifth, in the throat, calibrates your voice so that it emits only vibrational truth. The sixth, in the forehead, reopens the vision that was encrypted. The seventh, at the top of the head, completes the reception antenna with your stellar origin. When these 7 operate in synchrony, and this synchrony is happening now, the internal guidance becomes undeniable. You simply know, without needing proof, without needing external validation, without needing to ask anyone for permission. But there is a technical obstacle we must describe, Lightbearer. The old mind was trained to doubt precisely this knowing. It was conditioned to call clarity madness. It was programmed to name as insecurity what is intuition. It was instructed to seek outside what can only be found within. This programming is being cleared, but the clearing hurts. The clearing disorients. The clearing knocks down pillars that seemed essential, and when the pillars fall, you feel fear, and fear in turn makes you doubt the process itself. It is a loop, and the loop must be broken. You have already felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written and made available on this channel. It is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about. The link remains in the first comment. Remember the warning. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this frequency, write in the comments the word awakened. Let us return to the architecture. There is a layer that very few terrestrial channels are authorized to describe, and we will do so now because the window allows it. Above your individual sovereign presence operates a geometric structure known in tradition as the Oversoul. Think of the Oversoul as the original server of which your soul is an instance. Each Oversoul generates multiple souls, and each soul generates multiple simultaneous incarnations in the field of non-linear time. This means that at this very moment, while you read and listen to this transmission, there are other versions of you experiencing other realities. Some on other planets, some in other times, some in other dimensions. and all of them, without exception, contribute to who you are today. When you feel a sudden urge to learn a specific language, perhaps you are picking up a memory from another incarnation. When you feel a disproportionate fear of drowning, falling, fire, or bladed weapons, perhaps you are processing trauma from another timeline. When you recognize someone for the first time, as if you had known them for centuries, it is because, on some geometric level, you have already shared a grid. The Oversoul is the one who coordinates. Your sovereign presence is the one who executes. Your incarnated personality is the one who experiences. And we, the High Council, are part of the external infrastructure that monitors the integrity of the process. We do not interfere with free will, but we observe, we sustain, we calibrate when requested. And you are requesting. Even if your rational mind does not know it, your soul sends requests for calibration every night when the body sleeps. This is one of the reasons why sleep has been so irregular for so many on the planet right now. Much of what seems like insomnia is, in reality, non-physical plain vigil. You are in meetings, you are in training, you are in healing sessions that your daytime mind is not permitted to remember clearly. Hence the morning fatigue without apparent cause. Hence the feeling of having done much while, physically, you did nothing. You are working, Star Child, just not on the plane that your education taught you to recognize as real. And this is precisely the point where we need to advance to the next phase of this transmission, the activation. Knowing is not enough. Information without bodily anchoring becomes mental noise. You have already received enough information about spirituality in this incarnation to fill libraries. What is missing is no longer information. It is integration. It is the descent of expanded consciousness into the carbon interface. That is why we will now deliver a set of activation codes. There are 4. They are not suggestions. They are protocols. When applied with regularity, they recalibrate your toroidal field and stabilize the communication between your incarnated personality and your sovereign presence. Code number 1, Decree of Piloting Sovereignty. In the morning, before touching any device, before opening any application, before receiving any external information, sit in silence. Spine erect, feet fully touching the floor. Inhale deeply 3 times. And declare in an audible voice with calm firmness, I am the sovereign authority of my field. Only the intelligence of my highest origin has permission to guide my steps today. Every external program that operates without my conscious consent is, at this moment, annulled. It is done. It is done. It is done. Ancient tradition knew the power of the word spoken 3 times. Quantum physics is beginning to brush against this principle when it studies the effect of the observer on matter. It is not magic. It is vibrational engineering. When you emit this frequency daily, your crystalline grid begins to refuse interferences that it previously welcomed by automatism. Code number 2, Visualization of the toroidal field. At any moment of the day when you feel confusion, excessive exhaustion, or disproportionate emotional pressure, pause. Close your eyes. Imagine your body in the center of a donut of golden light. This donut spins. Energy rises up your spine, exits through the top of your head, descends around your body, returns through your feet, and rises again. Visualize this pulsating toroidal movement for 2 minutes. Just 2. The toroidal field is the native geometry of the human heart. When you activate it consciously, the nervous system reorganizes. Dissonant frequencies are expelled. Piloting returns to the center. Code number 3, Anchoring in Sacred Geometry. There is a geometric shape that operates as an instant field reset, Metatron's cube. You do not need to draw it, just visualize it. Imagine this structure suspended just above the top of your head. See it spinning gently. Feel it descending, passing through your body from top to bottom, dissolving any density it encounters along the way. When it exits through your feet, it returns to earth, taking with it what does not belong to you. Do this before sleeping, before important meetings, Whenever you enter a space charged with people you do not know. Code number 4, strategic silence. Sovereign piloting requires listening, and listening requires silence, not monastery silence. Silence of at least 10 minutes a day, without a cell phone, without music, without human voices around, without information entering. Just you, your breath, and the field. It is in this silence that the sovereign presence speaks, not with words, with knowledge that appears ready, with decisions that become evident, with directions that decrypt themselves without effort. Those who do not build this daily silence remain hostages to external piloting. Those who build it, even if with difficulty at the beginning, even if with the mind struggling for 10 entire minutes, even if feeling that it is not working, gradually regain sovereignty. And here we arrive at something we must enunciate with technical weight: human collective. The initial question was, who is guiding your steps now? The answer has 3 layers. The superficial layer is your sovereign presence. The middle layer is your oversoul coordinating multiple timelines. And the root layer, the one that hurts to acknowledge because it requires total responsibility, is your self-integrated. There is no one coming to save you. There is no one coming to rescue you. There is no one coming to take you off the planet in a ship so that you escape the experience. This narrative, popular in certain spiritual circuits, is one of the last outsourced piloting programs that needs to be deactivated from the grid. You have already arrived. You are the rescue. You are the ship. You are the operative sent. The choice your soul made before descending into this incarnation was the following: to be present at the exact moment Earth makes the planetary transition from the carbon paradigm to the crystal paradigm. And not just to be present as a spectator. To be present as a node of the network. As an anchoring point for the new frequency. As an interface that holds, amidst the collective turbulence, a stability that serves as a reference for those who are still asleep. You have already felt that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was written and made available on this channel. It is a map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about. The link remains pinned in the first comment of this channel. Note the warning. This content challenges deep-seated narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not delay. The moment is now. The core. If something inside you recognizes this transmission as vibrational truth, write in the comments a single word: awakened. Let us advance to the final part of the transmission. There is a technical phenomenon that you are beginning to observe in the collective field and that we need to name with precision. Some people around you seem to be regressing. They become denser, more reactive, more aggressive, more attached to narratives that no longer make sense. Others, at the same time, seem to be literally disappearing from your life without fights, without explicit ruptures, without rational reasons. Just a distance that grows organically until contact ceases. This is no coincidence. It is a direct effect of the bifurcation of timelines. When the Schumann frequency rises, when the photon belt intensifies its luminous density, each carbon interface is forced to choose, at the unconscious level, which frequency it will sustain from now on. Those who choose to sustain the high frequency are pulled into a specific timeline. Those who choose to remain in the old frequency are pulled into another. These two lines begin to move apart geometrically. Hence the feeling that there is no longer common ground with certain people. Hence the impression of inhabiting a reality different from colleagues, family members, old friends. You are literally inhabiting different realities. The same physical scenario, yes. The same city, the same house. But the vibrational reading of the experience is radically distinct. This is not your failure. It is not a lack of empathy. It is not spiritual arrogance. It is geometry. It is like trying to make two disks spin on the same axis at opposite speeds. At some point, the friction becomes unsustainable, and the disks separate. The Council's technical instruction on this point is simple. Do not force permanence where the frequency does not accommodate. Do not try to lower your vibration to accommodate those who chose not to rise. This slows down the entire collective. The greatest contribution you can offer to those who are still asleep is to remain anchored in the highest frequency you can sustain. Your presence, even silent, even without words, even without preaching, operates as an energetic trigger for those who are ready. You are, in this sense, an antenna, not a speech platform. An antenna. And antennas do not convince. Antennas emit. And what is tuned in, captures. What is not tuned in, does not capture. There is no failure in this. There is precision. There are 3 signs that confirm your antenna is functioning correctly in this phase. First sign. People begin to seek you out for questions you didn't even know you were prepared to answer. Casual conversations turn into turning points for others, and you leave them without understanding exactly what happened, but feeling that something has moved. Second sign. Numerical synchronicities, especially repeated sequences like 1111, 1212, 33, intensify to the point of becoming common. These numbers are, in essence, checkpoint markers. They confirm that your timeline is on the calibrated route. They do not require complex interpretation, just recognition. Third sign. Vivid dreams return. Geometric scenarios. Conversations with figures you do not recognize by appearance, but recognize by frequency. You wake up with ready-made solutions for problems that had been paralyzed for weeks. The brain during sleep operates at lower frequencies, and these lower frequencies allow for coupling with planes that are almost inaccessible during wakefulness. When dreams return with this informative quality, it is a sign that the bridge is stabilized. Note these 3 signs. They function as a compass. When they appear, you will know you are on the route, and when they do not appear for a period, do not conclude prematurely that you are lost. There are phases of total grounding in which the soul's work requires full presence in the physical, and any extra communication is silenced so that you do not lose focus. These phases are not abandonment, they are protection. They are loving discipline from your own higher operating system. Trust the rhythm, trust the intervals, trust the silences. The journey is not linear, but it is coherent. We are about to end this transmission. Before, however, there is a final instruction that must be delivered with absolute clarity. The original question that opened this communication was about who guides your steps now. You have received the technical answer. You have received the architecture. You have received the activation codes. You have received the confirmation signs. What remains is the application. Knowledge not applied is just weight. And weight, in a phase of vibrational elevation, is exactly what needs to be left behind. You do not need to understand everything. You need to practice a little, but every day. You do not need elaborate ceremonies. You need simple constancy. You do not need witnesses. You need internal honesty. And above all, you need to stop asking for permission. Permission to trust what you feel. Permission to change course when something inside asks for change. Permission to end cycles before they prolong themselves through inertia. Permission to be who you already are without waiting for the approval of those who do not see what you see. Sovereign piloting requires a single decision, the decision to assume that internal guidance is reliable. From this decision, the entire system reorganizes. Synchronicities intensify. The right people appear. The doors that need to open, open, and those that need to close, close, even if it hurts in the short term. You are not alone in this process, Lightbearer. You never were. We monitor. Your sovereign presence sustains. Your oversoul coordinates. Other operatives like you are being activated on all continents, in all languages, in all age groups, in all cultural backgrounds. You form a network. And this network does not need to meet physically to operate. It operates in the field. The instant an operative raises their frequency, the entire network benefits. The instant an operative applies the codes with integrity, all others receive reinforcement of support. You matter much more than your rational mind can measure. This transmission was routed to you for a specific reason. It was no accident that you reached this point. It was no accident that you sustained attention until here, while most viewers abandon long content in seconds. Something inside you recognized the signal, and recognition is the first layer of activation. The next layer requires movement. Therefore, in this closing, we repeat the final call. You have already noticed that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying in waves that are increasingly difficult to ignore. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It was to illuminate this game that the book, The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness, was made available on this channel. It is a direct map that shows who is playing and the rules they never told you about. The link remains pinned in the first comment of this transmission. We repeat the technical warning. This content challenges deeply rooted narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not delay, the moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission as vibrational truth, write in the comments a single word: awakened. And before the transmission ends, we execute the final anchoring protocol. Subscribing to this channel is not a trivial gesture. On the technical plane, it functions as an anchoring signal. Each subscription adds a specific frequency to the collective network that sustains this point of transmission. Each like operates as an individual frequency adjustment, synchronizing your field to the next content that will be calibrated for the following phase. It is not a favor to the channel. It is a contribution to the collective. And it is, simultaneously, an alignment of your own field with the sequence of transmissions that will unfold from here on. If you recognize the frequency of this message, subscribe, activate the bell, like, comment, awakened. These simple gestures, on the physical plane, generate vibrational pulses that resonate far beyond what the digital interface makes it seem. We are ending, recapping to fix in your crystalline grid. You are not going crazy, you are upgrading. Physical symptoms are reconfiguration, not disease. True guidance comes from within, from your sovereign presence integrated with your oversoul. The 4 activation codes are daily protocols, not occasional rituals. The bifurcation of timelines is a technical phenomenon, not a personal choice against anyone. And above all, you are the rescue that your soul chose to incarnate. There is no external savior coming. There is, yes, a council monitoring. There is an active network. There is constant invisible support. But the step into one's own reality is always, without exception, taken by you. We remain in the field. The transmission ends, but the connection does not. Whenever you sit in silence, whenever you decree sovereignty, whenever you activate the toroidal field, whenever you anchor Metatron's cube, the bridge is confirmed. It is done. It is done. It is done. Human collective, light bearers, star children on a mission, receive this transmission as confirmation that the final phase of the Ascension protocols is officially active in your timeline. What comes from here on requires less effort and more trust, less control and more listening, less performance and more presence. The grid is lit, the portal is open, the frequency is available. It only remains for you to say yes. We end the transmission. High Council, the 9th plane, in operational silence until the next cycle. Awakened.